My grandmother's obituary listed 12 kids, but she only had 3 children. I remember staring at the draft from the funeral home, my vision blurring. There was my mother's name, Lena, and my uncle and aunt, Ben and Clara. And then there were 9 other names. 9 strangers who were supposedly my grandmother's children. We had gathered in the stale, quiet air of the funeral director's office, a place that smelled of old flowers and quiet grief. My mother was trying to hold it together, twisting a tissue in her hands. Grandma Alara was her whole world, the gentle woman who baked cookies and never raised her voice. The mistake felt like a cruel joke. "There's an error," my mother said, her voice trembling but firm. My mother had 3 children. Not 12. The director, a man with tired eyes, simply slid a document across the polished table. It was my grandmother's prepaid funeral plan, signed and notarized a decade ago. The list of 12 names was there, in her own elegant handwriting. The room went cold. My Uncle Ben, ever the hothead, started yelling, but my mother just went silent. A deep, hollow silence that was scarier than any shouting. The document listed a lawyer, a Mr. Finch, as the executor. My mother, looking like a ghost, picked up her phone and dialed. The man on the other end had a voice like dry leaves skittering on pavement. He wasn't surprised by our call. "Your mother instructed me to give you a box upon her death," he rasped. "She said you would have questions." An hour later, we were in a dusty law office that looked like it hadn't been touched since the 1970s. Mr. Finch handed us a heavy, dark wooden box, the kind you store old treasures in. My mother's hands shook as she lifted the lid. Inside, nestled in yellowed fabric, were stacks of letters, photographs, and 9 birth certificates. Each certificate listed my grandmother, Alara, as the mother. The father's name was different on some, and on others it was chillingly blank. We sat there in that suffocatingly quiet office and read my grandmother's secret life. The letters, written in her familiar script, told a story we could barely comprehend. Before she met our grandfather, before she became the sweet, gentle woman we knew, she was trapped. She had been part of a small, isolated community with a charismatic leader who controlled everything and everyone. It wasn't a life she chose, but one she was born into. The letters didn't use the word cult, but the meaning was clear. In this community, family lines were blurred, and children belonged to the collective. My grandmother had given birth to 4 of the 9, but she had raised all of them as her own, her heart breaking for their future. The climax of our discovery came in the last, thickest letter, addressed to her 3 free children. She wrote about her escape, a terrifying journey in the dead of night, with my mother, Ben, and Clara as toddlers. She could only take the ones she knew were biologically hers, and even that was a risk that nearly cost them their lives. She had to leave the others behind. She wrote, "I saved my body, but I left my soul with them." For 40 years, she had funneled money through the lawyer to anonymously support them, to give them a chance she never had. She had watched them from afar, a ghost in their lives they never knew existed. We found a final, heart-wrenching plea at the bottom of the page. "Don't let me be a liar in death. They are my children, born from my heart if not all from my body. Acknowledge them. Let the world know I love them all." My mother finally broke. Sobs tore through her, not of anger or betrayal, but of a profound, devastating empathy for the mother she thought she knew. Our quiet, cookie-baking grandmother had been a silent warrior, a heartbroken survivor who carried an unimaginable weight alone. The next day, the obituary ran in the local paper. It listed all 12 names. It caused a scandal in our small town, of course. But for the first time, we understood. We weren't just honoring our grandmother. We were fulfilling the final wish of a woman whose love was fierce enough to span 2 different worlds. And now, we had 9 new family members to find.